Hello, Taurus, and welcome to your reading. These are going to be your intuitive insights and advice for the month of February 2022. I hope you're all doing well and that your year is off to a good start so far. These messages, this reading is going to be for Taurus, Sun, Moon, and Rising. And do keep in mind that this reading is general in nature, so not all of the messages that come through are going to resonate or apply to your specific situation. So I highly encourage you to take whatever does resonate. Also, keep an open mind to any insights or advice that you feel might be helpful to you in the month ahead, to keep that in mind, and then simply release the rest. And as you can see, I've already selected your oracle cards for this month. I just did that shuffle off camera for the sake of time because I find that they take a little bit longer to come out for whatever reason. So we've already got your 3 oracles. And I am going to be pulling some tarot as well. So we'll take a look at what to expect for this month. And I will read the cards, read the energies, and channel some messages. And hopefully we'll get some really, empowering, uplifting advice to help you connect more deeply with yourself and the world around you, and to kind of make the absolute very best of this upcoming month. So I do want to say before we get into it that right after I pulled these oracle cards, I had actually sat down to do this reading, and I got interrupted. But as soon as I was prepared to start reading, like I was just about to hit record, and then I got interrupted, I got hit with a really nasty kind of headache. It wasn't a horrible headache, but I don't often get headaches. So I got hit with a headache, and it actually took like about an hour to go away. So that's unusual for me. So I just thought I would bring that up if some of you, you might be having issues with headaches or experiencing headaches, and just to kind of keep that in mind. I don't know, it could be, it could be lack of sleep, it could be stress, muscle tension, also hydration, or if you're, having too much caffeine, or a hangover or whatever, or it could be a more figurative headache. So maybe certain people or things or, experiences are giving you that sensation. And so, maybe just kind of be aware of that, tune into your body and see what it is that you're needing, and see how you can balance that energy out if you're experiencing that on the regular. The other thing that I experienced was I had these few moments of feeling really dizzy, and not like dizzy, but almost like my head was like disconnected from my body. I just felt a little bit out of sorts. And the way it kind of felt to me was just ungrounded. And again, that's unusual for me because before I even touch the cards to do a reading, I have my whole ritual of things that I do, and grounding is a big part of that. So I don't know, maybe you guys might be feeling a little bit scattered or unfocused. You yourself might be feeling a little bit dizzy. So just taking time to ground yourself might be something also that might be a theme this month, or something that can help you, especially if you've got a lot on your plate that you're dealing with. So, that could be doing meditation, grounding meditations specifically, just taking a moment to sit in silence to really connect with your body, and to be aware of, the physical sensations can be a good way to ground. Obviously, getting out in nature, doing exercise. So whatever appeals most to you and is most feasible to you, that might be a good, practice to kind of integrate into your days, like more regularly coming into February. And the other thing that I will say is that, I don't know, there's a lot going on before I even started to read, but I had this like feeling of excitement. And I always, I enjoy reading cards, and I always feel a certain amount of excitement, but this was like really amped up. And it kind of reminds me of like being really jacked up on caffeine, but like, it was positive, it was exciting. So I don't know if maybe you guys are currently, or some of you might currently be in that energy. There might be something specific that you've got in the works that you're looking forward to, or maybe there's something coming in for you this month that it's not quite on your radar yet, but it was just really really good feeling. I was very excited to read, and then I was kind of disappointed that I was interrupted. So I'm really happy to be here doing this for you today, and I'm excited to start connecting with this energy. And also, like, I kind of feel like I'm going to try and keep this under wraps, but I feel like it might be a little bit long. It's already starting off that way. But this last oracle card here, when I was just pre-shuffling the deck just to kind of cleanse the energy and connect with your energy, I wasn't even looking for a card, and these cards were just jumping out left, right, and center. That didn't happen with these other two decks. And this is the Sacred Rebels card. So they're, you know, you might have some like rebellious energy that you need to kind of connect with. Either that, or your guides and my guides just have a lot to say, and they are very excited, and they want to kind of like inundate you with information. So I'm really curious to see how this goes and what comes out for you. So we'll go ahead and get this reading started. I just wanted you to know what I experienced just to set the stage, because who knows what this is going to be about. So your first oracle is, let's see, Pillar of Light, and it says your vibration is rising. You are the oracle. Try and put it up there. Your second is Bixbite. And finally, your last oracle, it's kind of hard to see. It says, release the dark wound, let love live. And so that is very interesting, and that doesn't really surprise me, because as I said, these cards were flying out left, right, and center, and this was actually the first one to come out. And I don't take the cards that come out when I'm doing just like the pre-shuffle before I've even set the intention for the read, because I want to take the time to connect with the right energy. But this was the one that came out, and I looked at it and I made a mental note, because I was like, I bet you that's going to be the one that comes out, and here we are. So there's absolutely no doubt that this message is for you, and it must be something that you need to hear, because, you know, that's some adamant energy there. And so I'll just take a moment to kind of go over these. I don't know if I can get this to sit up a little bit better, but I'll just go over these energies before we pull the tarot cards, just to kind of see what we're working with right now. So this is actually a really interesting blend of energy. So I'm going to start with this one, because this is definitely the strongest energy here. But it gives me the impression that you guys, or most of you, or some of you at least, might be struggling a little bit with perfectionism. And you might be kind of like stifling your ability to create and to manifest and to connect with the things that you really want to bring into your life, because this perfectionism is keeping you from actually, you know, living your craft, whatever that is, right? So whether it's a creative outlet, a hobby, whether it's something that you do for work or something that you're hoping to turn into work, you know, whatever it is, it's kind of like getting into your head too much about it. And so it's like before you even start, before it's even really started to take shape, you're already criticizing it and comparing it to, you know, something that's on a completely different level. Like, you know, you can't take something that you've just started and it's just in its infancy and compare it to something that has been, you know, honed and perfected and released, right? So, you know, for example, if you're doing a painting, right, those paintings can take, you know, just hours and hours and hours, and they can be so complex and detailed, and they have to be done in layers. So if you've just started and you've got a blank canvas and you've got like your first layer of paint down, and you're already doubting the process, or you're criticizing the work that you've done to date, and you're worried that it's not going to be this beautiful masterpiece that you want it to be, and you're comparing it to somebody else's completed masterpiece, you know, all that's going to do is interfere with your flow, with your creative process and your ability to bring that in. It's going to introduce doubt. And it's really not a reasonable thing to do, right? Because you're kind of cutting yourself off. You're selling yourself short before you really have the opportunity to like finish that work. And the tough part is like, if you've grown up with heavy criticism, or very high expectations, or any kind of like guilt or shame or lack of sense of worth, is basically saying that like that can really interfere with your ability to do the things that are the most meaningful to you. And so that's this dark wound, right? Is this perfectionism, whatever causes us to get into our heads about what it is that that we're trying to create and what's important to us, and how being overly critical and judging ourselves and judging the work as not worthy before it's even had the opportunity to be completed is really just standing in our way. And so it's allowing yourself to kind of release those wounds, release that criticism and that fear, because if you can connect with love and joy, that lends to immense creativity and joy and passion, right? It allows you to connect with your inspiration and to let that flow through you. And if you create from that place, you can let your creation take form in the way that it's supposed to. And you don't have to know what that is going to look like, even from moment to moment. And a lot of people who really are great at what they do, they say they get into that state of flow, right? And so, and it's funny, the fish is going back into the water here. It's like, don't take the fish out of water and just let it die, right? You have the opportunity to kind of, even if you've got a project on the go, right? Or something that, you've axed, or something that, didn't turn out well enough or isn't perfect enough, right? Chances are it's just this wound that's causing you to kind of overthink and be overly critical, and really kind of, causing you to put that on a shelf because you think it's not worthwhile or you're not worthy. And so you might even have something that you can kind of revisit and revive this month, and try to bring a new perspective of love and allow yourself to connect with that joy and inspiration, and just let that flow in the way that it's meant to, right? And we can't do that when we're trying to control it, or when we're afraid that it's not going to be enough. So that's really interesting. And the other, this energy of big spite goes really nicely with it, because big spite is all about having drive and courage and ambition, and charging forward with confidence. And the way that you do that is by allowing yourself to kind of disconnect, in a similar way, from that wound, from anything that is limiting you and holding you back. And so this is basically saying, like, you are going to have the courage this month, or maybe you're going to be able to more readily connect with that courage inside of you, to let go of anything that's harmful, anything that's unhealthy, anything that isn't aligned. So whether that's, your personal thoughts and beliefs, or your habits, it could be a person, it could be a relationship, it could be a job, it could be, it could manifest in any way, but you're really being encouraged to take a look at the areas where, maybe you're not reaching your potential, or maybe you're not feeling good, right? Maybe you're not enjoying yourself, and maybe you're feeling a little bit stifled. So it's identifying anything that's not healthy, right? Anything that's not, allowing you to connect with love and joy, and really kind of get a more meaningful experience out of life. And this is also encouraging us to not put so much pressure and so much importance on what we're achieving or what we can do, right? So it's like to drive forward and to work toward accomplishing things, but not to be so focused on the outcome and all of these things that we're trying to control, but to just kind of enjoy the process, right? So it's progress over for perfection, and it's honoring the process of getting there. And it's really great to have big dreams and goals that you're wanting to crush, but if that is your benchmark for happiness, it's going to be really difficult to experience joy or happiness, or even just basic contentment in the moment, if you're letting all of that ride on the success of whatever that is to you: job, money, relationship. It could be material, like home, whatever it is that you've been putting your importance on that's outside of yourself, you're really being encouraged to connect, also to connect with the people in your life, like connect with relationships, and put the pressure that you're putting on yourself to perform and to, make headway and to achieve perfection, put that on the shelf and start focusing on, the ways that you can enjoy your life right now. And you don't have to sacrifice your progress, and you don't have to sacrifice the process in order to connect with a little bit more joy now. And, focus on yourself, building yourself up and connecting to, some healthier habits, and really having your eyes opened to the abundance that's already around you, the good things that are in your life, because that is going to help you also stay in this creative space, where you can bring whatever it is, into your reality. And that's also connected to this pillar of light. So your vibration is rising. You are the oracle. I really do get the sense that this is going to be a good month for you for healing, personal development, emotional work, and kind of coming into a deeper level of knowing and acceptance of yourself, right? So kind of bringing this like darkness, bringing these wounds to light, being willing to kind of acknowledge them, and do the work to start releasing. And if you can't release, obviously that's a process, but connecting with more love and joy to help balance things out, because it feels like you've been very much in your head and you've been very focused on practical things. And it's just like, there's a lot of stress and pressure, and it's eating away at your confidence. And, that's not what you want. The other thing with pillar of light is basically saying that you are an anchor for light into the physical world. So it's like, if you think of yourself as a channel for that divine energy. So like the spiritual energy, and especially, with Taurus and being an earth sign, you guys are kind of masters of the material. And a lot of the things that you're kind of associated with, it's about manifestation, and it's about bringing things into the physical reality, or, it's a very practical, grounded kind of energy. And so while it's important to be grounded, obviously that's a big part of this, and that's something I mentioned before, but also it's acknowledging the spiritual side of you, and that also connects to your inspiration, right? Your ideas. And this is saying that, like, this is actually a very kind of like spiritual, divinely guided card, because it's basically saying that you have the ability to connect with information from the spirit world, and bring that down into reality and create that into something tangible. And chances are you're already doing this, and you may not even be conscious of it, right? So and this could come about in many, many ways. It doesn't have to be strictly spiritual in nature. So, you might just be somebody who has a lot of ideas, or maybe you're able to really easily or effectively connect with creativity and inspiration. So maybe ideas just come to you, and, it could be that you're a brilliant artist, and you just get these flashes of inspiration for, art or music, or it could be that you actually create or build things. You could be actually like producing things for people. Another thing is like you might just be a really good problem solver. You might be a good communicator, a gifted writer, right? So whatever it is, it's basically any form of taking these ideas and these flashes of insight and flashes of inspiration that come to you, and turning that into something, right? Bringing that into the world and sharing that with other people. And it doesn't have to be on a large scale. This also tells me that you might also have some spiritual gifts that you may or may not be aware of, right? So you may not be aware of the fact that, like, that's what's happening when you're having these flashes of inspiration, is there's a more spiritual side to it. So you could also have some kind of spiritual gifts, like you might be inclined as a psychic or medium, a channeler. You might be reading cards yourself. It could be, helping people in a therapeutic kind of way. There are so many ways that this could come through, but it's basically, yeah, there's a bigger picture to all of this. And so with that in mind, and with you having this ability to kind of take this information from the ether and translate it into something and use it for good, in one way or the other, however that applies to you, it's that kind of emphasizes the need for you to be healthy, healthy and grounded, aware of the things that are holding you back and dampening you, willing to release those wounds so that you can bring out more of this, because this all comes from a place of being connected to joy and love and, the lighter sides. And part of that is, inevitably recognizing and coming to terms with our struggle and our darkness and being able to balance that out. And it takes courage and strength. So that's really interesting. This is a really long read for the Oracle cards, but there's a lot here already. So we will get you, your first card is 9 of Cups. And then 10 of Pentacles. Oops. And then we have the Page of Cups. I'm just going to move these up. And then finally, one last card. All right, we have the 10 of Wands, and the bottom of the deck is the 7 of Wands. All right. Yeah, this is very interesting. And so it's kind of like, no wonder I felt like there was this really exciting kind of energy, because that is the 9 of Cups. Like the 9 of Cups, they call it, the wish card or the wish fulfillment card. And it's basically acknowledging that you have the ability to connect with any number of like really wonderful opportunities and wonderful outcomes, right? And so there's it can be practical in nature. Like you can absolutely work toward and manifest something in the material and material abundance, and that can be part of it. But there's also a very like emotional, intuitive, and spiritual side to that. And you see the light coming out here. It's kind of like this ultimate happiness and fulfillment. And cups are really often associated a lot with like harmony and love and depth of emotion and connection. And so then there you can see there's this box of treasure. So there is the sense that you have the opportunity to really hone in on whatever it is that you feel is going to be most abundant to you, or bring you the most abundance. And that could be on all levels. That could be emotionally, it could be in relationships, it could be in career and money and all of that. So it's kind of like the energy that I'm getting is like, this is your like be all end all. And it doesn't have to be like the only thing that you're focused on doing, but it's recognizing that this opportunity exists, right? It's kind of like the magic of being able to dream and then connect with the possibility, and then really, actively work on bringing those dreams into your reality. And that's it kind of aligns with this as well. It's like whatever your inspiration is, whatever your ideas are, whatever feels, like light and joyful and you're really kind of feeling drawn to, you can create that in your own reality. You can kind of bring that down to earth. And the first step is really getting clear on what that is so that you can start taking steps. And I see like that is what your challenge is, right? Is that if you are wanting this like really wonderful abundance and stability, and you're really wanting to kind of like put these dreams in motion and start seeing some results, right? It's not getting so overwhelmed by the end goal and what that is going to look like and what you want that picture to be, that you get so overwhelmed that you can't start taking those steps, right? Or that you allow these these ideas or this idea to just be, a feeling or a wish, and you are so focused on life being, kind of boxed in and practical that you can't fathom a way to make that reality, right? Maybe it doesn't seem practical enough. And so, yeah, so the challenge is to know that, whatever, and, you might already be in this energy. This might be something that you're aware of or something that you're working on, or it might be something that you've really just been wanting for a really long time and you haven't quite figured out how to do it. And I sense that, this whole perfectionism thing is like, that can apply too. So this 10 of Pentacles is kind of like, it's a happily ever after card. There's a happy family, there's material abundance, there's, connection. It's like a really beautiful card. And, maybe that's what you want, and you can't quite figure out how to put all of those pieces together to get it, right? Because it's like, to have the happy family, to have, happy self, happy relationships, if you want to have a house and you want to have the job and you want to have the financial stability and you want to have the happiness and joy and be able to travel and create and all of your outlets, right? If you are really scattered in terms of all of these different things that make up this end puzzle, or all these puzzle pieces that kind of create this end image, it can be really overwhelming, because it's easy for our energy to be scattered, and to be so scattered and maybe put off by how difficult each individual goal or task seems, that it's hard to kind of even take one step in the direction toward one of those things. And so I would say that as much as you might have an idea of what that end goal is going to look like, you never know what the road there is going to be. And just because the road that you're on right now, or where you have been, doesn't resemble this end goal, or you can't clearly see how that is going to manifest, it's being able to trust that it will. And that you're not limited. Like, it's not like there's only one way to get there. And to not let that stop you, right? To not let that make you doubt that it's possible and then give up on your dreams of happiness and fulfillment. And then also to not get so busy being overwhelmed by the whole big picture and how your life right now isn't quite lining up, that you stop allowing yourself to take steps that will actually end up getting you there, right? So it's that perfectionism thing. It's like, you want everything to be perfect, but you just can't see it's not there now, and you just can't see how it's going to get there. And you're kind of giving up on yourself, or not allowing yourself to really connect with your dreams and move toward that with trust that you can do it and you will do it. And it's just, it's all in good time, right? And so your advice is to really just let yourself dream, let yourself connect with your emotions, let yourself connect with other people, connect with love, connect with joy, connect with your inspiration. This is the when pigs fly can fly card, right? And it's like a very daydreamy energy, but that's the place that you kind of need to be able to go to in order to connect with this inspiration and bring it down, and to be able to take those steps and drive toward your dreams, and not let your thoughts and not let your conditioning or your wounds to sabotage you or keep you from moving forward, right? So you're really being guided to stay in a place of love, like love for yourself, love for others, and to really, it's like dare to dream, right? So if you're trying to manifest this and this happiness and abundance and whatever that looks like for you, whatever your kind of like happily ever after looks like, it's allowing yourself to really experience those feelings, acknowledge those feelings, cultivate those feelings now, and allow yourself to dream, and allow yourself to connect to ways that might help you bring that into your reality. Because if you're approaching it like it's a job and it's a task, and that could be very well like Taurus energy is like, okay, focus on the task at hand, get it done, make it happen, move on to the next. And as much as that can be really beneficial in simply getting things done, that's not really what you're being asked to do here. And that's only a small piece of the puzzle in what you're trying to create, because you need that momentum. You need that love and that joy and that inspiration, especially if that's what you're trying to create in your end goal, is to have all of those things, all of those feelings and those experiences in that abundance. You need to be making room for that and connecting with that and strengthening your ability to really get into that energy and experience that now, to carry you there, right? It's not going to just manifest out of nothing once you hit the end goal, right? So, you know, the journey, the process is just as important as the end goal. And it doesn't need to be perfect now. It doesn't need to be perfect in the end. It just needs to be you, right? It needs to be you, authentic to you, what matters to you, and, you know, taking time for things that are meaningful to you. So your own individual practices and self-care, in your relationship, you know, work, there's only so much that we can do about, but, you know, finding opportunities for connection and meaning in the workplace or with your colleagues, or, you know, doing your job. And then obviously in your own, you know, personal life as well. And it really seems like the outcome is like, you know, you're going to start to close out these cycles. You're going to start to kind of bring in new energy, connect with an energy that is more stable and more confident, feeling more joyful, feeling more relaxed, taking the pressure off of yourself, and just believing that, like, you can manifest this happily ever after, and you will. You just need to stay focused, and you need to trust your ability to do so, and, you know that there's only so much that's within our control. And you are the key, right? So your feelings, your thoughts, your attitudes, your manner of dealing with things, the steps that you are willing or not willing to take, that is the only thing that's really limiting what you're able to create. And so it's just being mindful of your thoughts. And that's like with the Seven of Wands here at the bottom of the deck, it's like really kind of like, you know, I don't know if maybe you are in a space or you've been working to get to a space where you feel like settled and untouchable, and, you know, you're not reactive, like you're kind of just in your own energy and you're not worried about what anyone else is saying or doing. Or maybe that's a struggle for you. Like maybe that has been holding you back, is that, you know, your past experiences and the things that people have said and done have really impacted you in such a way that you are having a hard time cultivating that peace. But there really is the opportunity to kind of like let go and really, really assess this month, you know, what is weighing you down? What is holding you back? Are you carrying weight and stress and anxiety and putting pressure on yourself that isn't even yours, right? Or that you don't need to anymore. And so it's really being willing to kind of release yourself of anything that's not serving you, of anything that's holding you back from really connecting with your highest outcome, with your dreams, and with all of this, like, really, it's like a really positive energy. And I feel like you're just ignoring it, like not necessarily ignoring it, but you're not seizing it, right? It's kind of like you're so in need of it. Like you want this emotional, you want this happiness, you want this fulfillment, but you're kind of like you're kind of trying to fast track your way there instead of connecting with it now. So it's almost like you want it so badly that you don't see what you already do have, and you're not taking the time to connect to it because you're feeling like a lack, right? And it's about releasing that scarcity mindset as well, and connecting with the opportunity for abundance and the knowledge that it is there, and you can anchor that into your reality. If you kind of get your mindset sorted and start taking care of yourself and your emotions, right? Because you can kind of, you know, close this chapter. You can leave these things in the past, and you can decide what it is that you really truly desire, what you really truly want to move toward and to create. And anything and everything that is going to hold you back, or that doesn't align, or that is keeping you from connecting with that kind of energy, it can be left behind, right? So this month might be like a little bit heavy in the sense that you are working through these things. But just know that there's a very, very positive, uplifting energy behind all of this. And the whole purpose is to really like kind of clean house energetically, and just really take the time to release these things that are dampening you. And so we'll get some clarifiers. We'll get one for each card. So we'll start with the Nine of Cups. Sorry, this is kind of a mess here. Nine of Cups. We have Justice. All right, now 10 of Pentacles. Let's get clarification on that. Oh my gosh, it's funny. It's like I've done so much talking that the cards don't want to talk anymore. Okay, and we have Daughter of Wands, which is the Page of Wands in this deck. Okay, so for Page of Cups, Page of Cups. Actually, this one came out reversed, so we'll read it reversed. So the Five of Cups reversed. All right, and finally, 10 of Wands. All right, let's clarify the 10 of Wands, please. Okay. All right, and we've got the 9 of Pentacles. Sorry, these cards are getting all messed up. That's why it's taking a while. And then we have the Father of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck. He's a little pressed for space here. Let me just move this up. Okay. Yeah, that's interesting. So we don't have any air energy, which is, so the interesting thing with tarot is what shows up is almost as important as what doesn't show up. And you've got like a big theme of, well, justice, I guess technically is related to air, but you've got like cups and pentacles and wands, but no swords really. And I think that's actually pretty in keeping with the general theme of this read, is that perhaps your thoughts are what are creating a lot of your blocks right now. And so we shouldn't be focused too much on thoughts or perceptions, because that's what kind of connects with the really analytical, strategic thing, which really kind of can drive forward that very practical mentality that keeps us from connecting with our passion and inspiration and really creating. So that's really interesting. And so yeah, I feel like you're at a point where you are realizing that you deserve this wish fulfillment, right? So it's something that you've wanted for a long time, and I think you may have had struggle fully grasping or fully like bringing it into your reality. So you might have had certain wins or certain things that kind of make you feel like you're on the right track, but maybe your self-doubt and your self-criticism is kind of keeping you from really fully seeing the opportunity for everything to really come into alignment for your whole like happily ever after. But this is basically saying like, this is meant for you, right? And I think like the vibe that I'm getting is like, because this happiness and fulfillment is so important to you and it has felt so kind of out of reach, or you've had such a difficult time connecting to it, that's a really big part of your life path. And the things that have been coming up and that have been getting in your way, and the fears and the doubts that have been interfering with your progress and maybe lending to like perfectionism and you stifling yourself, it's really, the whole point is that this is coming up to be healed and released, because you deserve this. It's kind of like fated for you to manifest whatever this is and to bring that into your reality. And the only thing that's really going to stop you is an unwillingness to let go of the things that aren't working, like to identify and let go of it, right? Because it's yours. And you're being challenged to step more into your creativity, right? To kind of start nurturing that little spark of passion, and to consider all of the ways that could manifest in your life, all the different roads that you could take, right? And to trust that that's a good part of your journey, because the practical side and the end result is great to focus on, but because passion and this and creativity and this emotional fulfillment seems to be really important, it's like you can't deny that, right? You have to allow space for that in your life, and to kind of start leaning into that energy a little bit more, right? Because there's so much opportunity for you. And in daydreaming a little bit more, connecting with that happy, positive energy, connecting with love, bringing more love for yourself and for others into your life, and really focusing on and valuing that, like I said before, is really going to help you connect to all of that stuff that's out in the ether that you're pulling from and you're bringing into your reality. And that's a big key in what is going to make you the happiest. But you're also kind of able to let go of those challenging, heavy emotions, the ones that are inspired from like limiting beliefs, the ones that keep you from feeling like you're going to be able, it's like a kind of like a low, depressed energy. It's like you're going to be able to start letting that go, and instead of feeling like you have to be relegated to these heavy feelings and this darkness and this kind of fear, the more that you connect with all of this like really light energy and start taking the time to recognize it and bring more of it into your life, it's going to be so much easier to do that on a regular basis. This is really just about habits, like emotional and spiritual hygiene, like mental health hygiene, your physical hygiene, like getting everything in order and really making sure that things are healthy, right? And then with the 9 of Pentacles here, with the 10 of Wands, that's kind of confirming that like not only do you have the opportunity to kind of let go of everything that's holding you back and everything that doesn't align with who you truly are and what you truly want to do in your heart, right? That also is going to bring about the opportunity for abundance and stability. And it's kind of like, you know, the more material equivalent of this abundance and wealth, right? And with the Father of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck, that's the King of Pentacles. So it's like there's a lot of Taurus, you know, there's a lot of earth energy here kind of guiding you through, you know, and allowing you to still do what's important to you in the physical plane, whether that is creating or, you know, achieving and like, you know, existing in the material world. And that's your kind of comfort zone. But you really have the opportunity to achieve something really beautiful or create something really beautiful for yourself if you allow yourself to incorporate the spiritual and incorporate the emotional, and to really truly honor that and connect with that, and to use that in your manifestation. Use it to strengthen yourself, use it to strengthen your relationships, use it to to connect more deeply to your own creativity and inspiration, and just love and joy for yourself and others, and for life, to kind of help you banish and like balance out the heavier energy. Because, you know, that, geez, I don't know how else to say. I told you it was going to be a long reading. I'm gonna cut myself off and just give you some affirmations, but yes. And even the way that I'm feeling right now, this is like very energetic. Like there's a lot to be said. I could probably go on much longer, but I think you all probably get the gist. So let's get you some affirmations. Okay, so your first one says, my presence is my power. Your second one says, I measure my success by how much fun I'm having. All right, let's see if we can get another for you. Oops. Okay, well, you got 2 more. Then we have, I begin my day with love. And finally, I welcome abundance and will pay attention to the guidance I receive. Okay, well, you can't deny that. So yes, you are able to connect with divine guidance. And also that makes me think you are the oracle. it is not looking for advice or guidance outside of yourself, and especially not outside, like in the material world. Like, you know, we're taught to look to, you know, angels and guides and God for guidance, and for them like being outside of us, right? They are doing it for us, but it's basically saying you are the oracle. Like you are the only one that can give that energy a voice. You're the only one, like you can, not the only one, but you can receive that energy, you can interpret it, and you can bring that into your reality. And so that information is useless if you don't connect with and channel it and bring that into your life. It's just out there. It's not doing anything. And so you have to be able to have the ability to connect and do that. Like you are an integral part of bringing that to life. And so it's recognizing that you have all of the power to connect with this insight and these ideas and to bring them into reality, whether it's something you've been conscious about or not. But yeah, it's just being open, like keeping your mind open and being open to opportunities for abundance, even if you can't see how that's going to manifest for you, even if it doesn't seem like you're close to where you want to be right now. There are so many ways that beautiful things can come into your life. So be open to it, be welcome to it. And, you know, part of that is, yeah, pay attention to the guidance you receive. And that guidance might come through in thoughts, inspiration, ideas. It could be feelings, you know, intuitively, the spiritual side of it. But pay attention to it and honor it and do something with it, right? So just because it's not something, you know, in the physical plane, you know, of this earth, it's, you know, material and tangible, doesn't mean it doesn't have value, doesn't mean that it's not real or true. And in fact, it's being able to kind of overcome maybe that material block and be able to fully accept and integrate this guidance into your reality. That's going to be the game changer for you. And this month, I think you have the opportunity to connect with a lot of guidance and insight and really just start kind of creating more room for that in your life and paying more attention to it. And obviously love, yes, as I mentioned, that's an important thing. You're measuring your success by how much fun you're having. That is another important part of, you know, this cups energy with the Knight of Cups and the Nine of Cups, right? Is really giving yourself a break, relieving yourself of the pressure and the criticism and the need for perfection, and really just being able to honor where you are right now, to see the good, to enjoy it. And instead of success being rooted firmly in material abundance or things that are really obvious to the eye, it's really about how you're feeling, because that's what drives everything. Like you are the key. And if you are not feeling good, it's really, really difficult for you to create anything that's going to make you feel good or connect you with more of that energy. And then it says, my presence is my power. So yes, being grounded, being present, being aware, doing meditations, getting into your body, whatever is going to ground you and help you become more aware of, you know, your thoughts, your feelings, your experiences, more able to connect with love and joy. This all just came together so nicely. I'm really excited for you. I think this is really beautiful energy. So it's like emotionally, spiritually, you know, abundance on all levels. There's a really great opportunity for healing and release, and just, you know, start recognizing what feels good, what feels aligned, how can you cultivate more of that, and what isn't serving you, what can you let go of, and how are you going to, you know, move away from those things that are dragging you down in order to connect with more of this really, really abundant kind of energy. So Taurus, I think I've talked enough. I'm going to leave your reading here. Thank you so much for being here and for sharing this space with me. If you enjoyed this video, please feel free to like and share, or leave me a comment and let me know how it resonates. And if you enjoyed this video, you can feel free to check out my channel at Bright Soul Collective Tarot. Take a look at my other videos, subscribe to my channel, and you can get up-to-date notifications when new videos come out. But yeah, I'm just so happy that you've taken the time to be here. I know this was a long reading, so thank you for sticking it out with me. It has been a pleasure to read for you, and I look forward to reading for you again in the future. And in the meantime, I'm wishing you all the very best.